Every sermon I've heard on joy has been a sermon against happiness. I feel like that's kind of shameful. Because if joy doesn't have anything to do with happiness, then what the hell is it? Sort through every image of joy you can think of. I bet they look a lot like happiness. I would say that happiness is a pretty good marker of joy. I guess I understand how happiness can be a distraction. People want to say that joy is something greater than just happiness. Well, sure, maybe that's true. But that doesn't mean we have to shame happiness in order to elevate joy. I've heard this done two different ways. Here's how one of my liberal friends would say it. We need to understand that many people struggle with anxiety and depression, and many others are facing difficult times in their lives. So it's important for us to remember that joy is not just happiness. Otherwise, we're implying that these people can't experience joy in their circumstances. Fair enough, though there are some problems with that. But the rest of us can still be happy though, right? It can't be violence toward another person just any time I try to enjoy my life. And just because happiness isn't the sum total of joy, doesn't mean that happiness doesn't matter. Now, here's how I've heard one of my conservative friends say this. A lot of people just want to be happy in life. Take care of themselves, make sure every desire is satisfied so they can be happy. But that's not what joy is. You can have joy and not be greedy and lazy. Okay, they've got a point. But they also just said that happiness comes from being greedy and lazy. And so proper Christians must deny their desires at least until the point that they're not happy. But come on, let's get real. Happiness is pretty simple. As long as you're not hung up on something, it tends to happen naturally. And yeah, I know we get stuck in 1,000 different ways, but that's not happiness's fault. And it's not the fault of happy people. Even though I may be cynical about them, happy people may have a lot to teach us about joy. The third traditional theme of Advent is joy. Because in the midst of struggle for hope and peace, it's easy to let the gentle flame of joy go out. It's usually the first casualty. But if, instead of turning to face the conflict, we instead focus on joy and the sources of joy, we're in the deep place of shared humanity. Despite our differences, we all want to be happy. So come Lord Jesus. Until we can imagine a happy God, what chance do we have?